Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is David Palmer, the Leo King, here for Deep Astrology, your weekly astrology forecast for the week of June 23rd through the 29th of 2020. Woo! We are in summer or winter if you're down there in the southern hemisphere, and we are in wild time, still in the middle of eclipses, and we are here exclusively for this show on highvibe.tv. Check out the links down below. This is the show where, of course, we give out the weekly horoscope, and you get this show in its full form with the charts. Of course, if you're on YouTube, you get the audio version when I switch to the charts, but I always channel first, and then we go to the charts. And if you haven't checked out yet my 2020 What's Next, make sure that you check it out now. It is on the paid video section of highvibe.tv, and then, of course, once you purchase it there, you can access it on your Apple TV, your Roku device, your Android, or your iPhone. Make sure that you check it out right now about the big predictions and how I said, and I have been saying, that the end of June is when to make some of the most crucial decisions in your life about how to play round 2 of life. You've experienced round 1. Welcome to round 2. Speaking of round 2, here we are this week. The round 2 is about to begin. It's almost like a champion, fight or something with Mars that is going to come into Aries. And on top of that, right before that, speaking tonight on Wednesday, the 24th, I think it is, or 20, I don't even know where I'm at. I think it's the 24th, actually. Yeah, it's the 24th. So actually it's 24th through 30th. But this is crazy because this is Venus coming direct. We've seen Venus been retrograding for this last 40 days. And, this is a moment of, I would say, thank God, right? We get some good energy. We get some positive energy back. Venus is a benefic planet. It is turning direct, and we've seen both benefics retrograde one after another during that cycle that we saw in May. So, this is definitely us going to see some more positive energy when it comes to understanding relationships, our values, but it also is kind of a wake up because remember, Venus retrograded square Neptune, and so this is a wake up call about a lot of things with money and relationships and looking at the truth that you've had to recover and understand deeply inside for the last 40 days. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we get deeper into the show. But this Mars in Aries is a big deal. Mars is going to have an extended stay here until the beginning of January of 2021. And Mars is at its home sign in Aries. It is dominant there. It is strong. It is what? The god of war. It is the hero. And this is where energy gets intense, vitality, force. And this is a very intense time because remember, we have a lot in cardinal energy. We've got the sun, of course, in Cancer, that solar eclipse at the weekend, right? We have Mercury retrograding in Cancer. We have Jupiter and Pluto retrograding to make their conjunction point at the end of this week too. So we're going to be talking about the Jupiter-Pluto retrograde conjunction this week. That in itself is one of the biggest transits since it happens at once every 13 years. But guess what? Not in Capricorn and not in retrograde. So we're going to go deeper into that today as well. But this Mars in Aries is about to form Act 2 of what we're about to see in the world. Of course, it's going to play out differently than we saw Act 1 the first 6 months of 2020. But what's hanging on the balance of all these major aspects that are happening this week? When we come into next week on July 1st, Saturn is coming back home into Capricorn, and this is really going to be the final curtain call. So this is going to be Saturn back at home in its home sign of Capricorn with Jupiter-Pluto conjuncting, all without a south node. There's no illusions about the Capricorn restriction, patience, slowdown, shutdowns, lockdowns, however you want to call it. I've been saying for a long time, not only here on Deep Astrology, but on my prediction forecasts, or even when it comes to my pre-prediction forecasts for 2020 that were over the last 3 years, that international travel, things that have to deal with like travel are going to be hunkered down hardcore. And I've been saying this, and I know a lot of people didn't want to hear me about it, but looks like it's going to be that way. I've also been calling out, and I don't like to say it, but there's definitely a split in the collective right now, and we need to find a way to find unity. But if we look at the astrology in the last 165 years ago in 1856, when Neptune was, of course, in Pisces at this degree where it went retrograde, we saw the great invisible divide that created the Civil War of 1856. We saw in 1692 the witch trials. So I'm just trying to say that, this is a time where we're going to have to be compassionate. And with Mars coming into Aries, we haven't even seen this split in the collective really get ramped up. And, ramped up energy is a lot, right? Mars in Aries is like a fighter. It is a hero. It is a warrior. And this energy is intense because Chiron is here. And since Chiron is here, this is where people try to almost fight through their wounds. It's almost like, when you get a cut and you make it worse because you keep picking at it, or you get a big old pimple and you just want to, no matter what you want to do, you want to pop it. And the worst thing that you do is you just keep trying to pop that pimple till it literally is now looking like a cavern of the worst cave that you've ever been into in your life. This is where people are trying to heal themselves about things that don't look the way that they want to. And when the things come down in the next week and the gates come down of Capricorn and Mr. Burns starts to throw up his walls to his mansion, guess what? You can do all you want, but the hounds will get stuck on you. This is where we're going to have to learn to really position ourselves this week with Venus direct. You've seen the truth. What is not logically making sense in your life that makes you feel good in relationships and values, or what do you got to do to make some money? You got to be smart. You got to use your communication. You got to use technology. You got to use things that make sure that you understand how to survive in this world. We're seeing the Saturn in Capricorn that is going to play out here starting next week. And with Jupiter and Pluto retrograde and conjuncting, this is the transit that brings financial pitfalls. It brings financial, major excess for people that are at the top, and everybody else kind of gets wiped out. And this is what we saw in the Great Recession that was of 2007 when we had Jupiter, Pluto, and Sagittarius in December. That conjuncted. That led to the financial crisis of 2007 into 8. Then, of course, we saw Jupiter and Pluto in April. And guess what? Boom! Everybody's getting checks now, or people are having to apply for PPP, or around the world. More money was given out than I think ever before, just to try and get through the world. And this Jupiter-Pluto retrograde is going to be, one, repercussions of that and trying to understand, was that the right move, or do we need more? And how far can we take it? It's Capricorn. Capricorn won't let things go as far as you think. And that's what Jupiter has an issue with, is Jupiter is not all expanding, as Susan Miller liked to say in Conscious Life Expo. And I don't mean to call her out, but if you go to Gaia TV and you do watch our whole thing, this is not a time for us to just think that this is just any benefic gift that's just going to come in the universe for people, like she said, with Pluto there. It's Capricorn. It's got limits. And this is where people have to start to realize that this is a limited reality, and Jupiter and Pluto rule the understanding and the changes of the world itself. And with the South Node in Sagittarius, this world is not looking the way that people believe it should look. Whether you're on the left or you're on the right, everybody does not see it the way that they want to see it. And that creates a clash. And this is going to be a major clash that we are all going to have to try and get over, because I've seen it more ever since Neptune went retrograde on Monday. The split in the collective, the split in the divide, the split in politics, the split is becoming crazy. And when you add Mars, that's going to come to 29 degrees Pisces, and it's going to square the nodes, and then it's going to even oppose the moon in Virgo at 29 Pisces Mars, and 29 nodes. This is an activation of craziness. And this, we already thought things were crazy? No, Mars is about to activate the nodes, and you have a choice. Are you going to continue looking at the world that you don't see, that you don't like, that you believe that you want it to see, and keep, hoping that it will change and trying to just remain positive about things? Or are you going to be positive still, but actually just look at, I can make adjustments in my own life to make myself feel good? We got Rahu and Venus, and they're in Gemini, and they're saying we need to make our environment quickly change to make ourselves feel better now. Because it is a big trash compactor coming in our life. Rah, bam! And there's walls going douche, 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 douche. You can feel it. It's almost like a weird rhythm in the background. Douche, 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 douche. And if you're not listening to that, if you're not paying attention, if you're not tapping into that, well, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. Because this Sun in Cancer is going to meet with Mercury at the end of this week of what we're talking about, especially when we come to Tuesday. And it's going to be conjunct in there, of course. I think it's not the worst conjunction in the world to happen. But when we see this Cassini point, you have to remember that it's squaring Chiron exactly. Mars will be in Aries. And this is not easy for Mercury, Mars. This is not easy for the Sun and Chiron. This is opening up massive, like, I want to feel good in the summer, right? It's Cancer, or even in the winter, right? I want to feel comfortable. This is uncomfortable energy dealing with identification of the way that life feels like we all got a bad hand and the way that things look. And the only way to change such actions or change such things is to actually 100% change your environment in your own world, and stop looking at how the world is going to affect you. The only way that you need to look at it is after you make the world that is around you the best place possible, and see how that outer world affects that, and make altercations or little adjustments. And it's because little adjustments are what Gemini is. It's just small facts, small things, small little things. And I think you'll realize in your life, you can get through this by just realizing that it's only about finding the things that, you know what, right now in life, the most simplest things that we love give us so much. But if we are still looking for the bigger pie, the bigger picture, the bigger everything, we're going to feel empty. We're going to feel lost because it's going to take a long time. The biggest patient in the world right now is patience itself. That patient is literally been in ICU forever and having to continue to be fed patience. Because patience is going to be the biggest test we've ever gone through in our lives starting next week. And this is what we have to prepare for, because with Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto in their home signs in a retrograde, Saturn in its home sign, but with all in Capricorn, and with Jupiter and Pluto conjunction, while Saturn comes back, and that you add to the fact that there's no more South Node here. Remember, these three were together with the South Node, so there was the illusion of like, well, it is locked down in the world, it is restricted, but it kind of is and it kind of isn't. There is something coming here that is going to feel like a true lockdown. I'm going to just say it. And especially because we are still in between eclipses, we have one more eclipse. We're already in a weird eclipse zone with 3 eclipses. And we have a lunar eclipse in Capricorn that's coming. And that is not going to happen this week, of course, but we are going to see the moon in Libra square the sun in Cancer. And so that balance and that harmony emotionally is only going to happen by finding the right partnerships, finding the right fairness, finding the right things in our life to bring us balance and harmony emotionally that we have to, with Gemini, North Node, and with Venus direct, we have to figure a way to do it. And the moon's going to at least trine over to this Venus direct. So it's like, make the moves that are not major, even though they seem major, because they are changing and life-changing, but they're because with Jupiter and Pluto retrograde, but there is something to say about it just being like, this is what reality has to offer me in my environment, and I'm taking this, and I'm taking this. It's almost like, I don't even want to use that whole entire, like if you were at a store and there was a storm, and it's like, oh, I should probably get the water now kind of energy, but it's like, where are you and how you've dealt with the first 6 months of this life of 2020? Because this next round is kicking off now. Because just the fact that Mars is going to square the nodes is the destiny point of any chart, right? And actually, it's the fortune of death usually. For real. While it's also, it always is a part of death. And there's a death in our lives. Don't take it like as like, oh God, from what I see on TV. Take it more as like, there is a death in the choice that you make of what you're going to end in which node. Are you going to fall for the whole Sagittarian story of that it'll all be fine and I'll be okay and, you know, I'll just see how and I'll just believe and it'll all be, you know, like, or are you going to be like, no, the facts are showing that I'm not happy here. This is what needs to be changed. This doesn't make sense and I can make it fast, instant. Remember, instant coffee probably came out from a Gemini. You know what? This is like hard because we can instant coffee things before we won't have enough instant coffee left to where it's going to be long brew. And it's not just long brew, it's long brew with a long line. And they ran out of supplies because the trains are stopped and yada, yada, yada. And you're like, what? And why am I in this line? And oh, now you got to go into this zone and wait. And then go quarantine yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my gosh. And then once you're quarantined, you didn't pay your bills and now we got to deal with that. And oh my gosh, it's like, this is what's gonna come down. And we need to start focusing on the financial stuff and war stuff because Mars is coming into Aries. Mars and Uranus are the only two planets besides Venus that will come direct, but Venus will be very slow and Uranus is slow, so it's Mars that's going to be at its home and it's the only planet that's freaking at full speed. Everybody else is just shut down. And so that makes it when the walls come down and when, Mr. Burns starts to get mad and put up his walls and get Smithers and seek out the hounds, that's Capricorn world. And it's a Capricorn world with Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn, and they're not that friendly if they want to stop everything without an illusion either, without the feeling like it's there but it's not there. No, it's going to be fully in your face. And the Saturn Aquarius kind of made us feel like we were free, but it's not coming back till the end of the year. So if there is any time, and this is why, that's why I recommend you get 2020 What's Next. I've been telling people and I've been saying to people, and I even did the Dupe Astrology for free last week for everybody, and I showed you where the eclipse lines were. I told you Mexico City, boom, earthquake, 7.7. I freaking told you about Dallas going through, boom, Dallas right now is one of the big hot centers, and they're like, the governor told Texas to shut down. I said that last week before this stuff went down. If you really are not going to listen to what I'm saying with the astrology and not listen to this video right here, then I'm just telling you, I don't know what you're doing. But that's all good. It's all up to you in your life. But I'm just trying to say that I've been telling people, and I said it even in this video, and I've said for years that this June, at the very end of June, you better have gotten all the things in life, and you better have just got yourself in the best position you can. Because I don't know if people are going to be having a good time come July. But there will be those that knew how to follow this Venus retrograde and see the truth and find the partners and find the people and find the tribe and find the things that make you feel good. In a world where those outlets have ended. Outlets end. So, we're just waiting. This, for some reason, this camera's having some issues here. Gracias, Craig. Thank you. And I think there's more positive to look than negative in all this. But this is where it's like over optimism, like to not do anything and just kind of wait and see is like one of the stupidest things that you could do. Because this is a moment where you know logically what to change in your environment to make you feel better now. And I think that a lot of people's plans and hopes and dreams that have been waiting on the world to change for them are going to be crushed. And that just sucks. So if you've been waiting for that concert, or you have a big trip planned, or you have some big thing that you're going to go do, and you have some big vacation plan, or you have some plans this summer of where your whole life is changing, you might think I'm crazy, but it's probably not going to happen. So I'd start to look at your local life, what's in front of you. It's me here at the High Vibe Studios in this couch right now. What will make me feel better? It'll probably make me feel better if I take this battery pack of this out of my pocket. That's the stuff I'm talking about. It's that simple and that local. You know what? Like, how can I be more comfortable in my life? Do I need to make some more money? Maybe I need to call my brother who does this. Maybe he has some extra work for me. Maybe I need to call somebody, or maybe, you know what? I always talk to that one guy who has that business down there. Maybe he's got something that he needs help extra couple hours a week. This is not where you can just think of the old things. Universities, schools, travel, all these things at the South Node are about to be blown out of our lives for a while. So, unless, of course, it's going to be through a Gemini way where it's like Zoom call or something like that. But the physical world is about to go through, ironically, which is really weird, the much more gnarlier, weird, like creepy close down than what we saw, because there's going to be like, yes, you can still do this, but you can't do that. And it's going to feel like, well, what's the point? It's going to feel like that. But there's going to be that point of that we are about to be revealed with Jupiter, Pluto, and with Saturn heading back towards that. But Saturn's had other plans that he hasn't even put into gear yet. So he went into Aquarius to go into his father's house and kind of like get ready to go there. But he was like, when I get to go back home, this is my last time for the next, 29 and a half years where I'm going to like my last plans are right here. This is like Dr. Evil's last plan. You know what I mean? And so this is like, I'm just preparing people because especially with this being an eclipse season and I feel that the beginning of July and when we have that lunar eclipse on July 4th and 5th, right? That's it, folks. That's where, boom, bye. Like this all changes, and you already are seeing it in this world. And let's look at the charts. So we're here on Wednesday, June. Oh, and if you are on YouTube, this does go to audio now. So make sure that you join highvibe.tv. All right, June 24th. And here we are. The sun has passed that north node. So this is what's kind of weird, right? You got the sun in Cancer, which deals with our emotions, our home. And so this is what we're focusing on, is how to feel and focusing on our home. And the north node is in Gemini, our environment and our stimulation, stimuli. But it's almost like we're going to be making a lot of adjustments. And they're minor ones and they're local ones, not worldwide ones. And Mercury's retrograde here, so we're trying to figure out how we're going to feel comfortable. And some of those things, if you're lost in the opposition to the South Node in Sag, you're going to be like, uh-oh. This hope that you're going to go somewhere new in a big way, or international or long distance or anything that's even far away. It's definitely going to be the place of closure, because look at Jupiter here. It's with Pluto at 24, and we're going to see that conjunction this week in a retrograde. Remember that it did not retrograde Jupiter, Pluto in a conjunction point in 2007. And then we haven't seen Jupiter and Pluto, of course, for hundreds of years. So we've never seen this. And then Saturn, look at this, 026 here on Wednesday, but it's on its way back into Capricorn on July 1st. So that's those reasons. We have Neptune that just went retrograde, and now this is weird because now you are revealing since November of 2019 that there has been a spell that is put on the world. And I'm going to be honest with you. Part of, I think, what we're seeing the split of the collective is some people are all thinking that the other side is spelled. So who's the right one? Who's really the true one that's spelled and who's the one that's woke? And I think that might be kind of a hard game to play. That's part of the issue, is each side, whether it's political or if it's about any kind of situation right now, you're either awake or you're not, and everybody thinks they're awake, and everybody thinks they know the best way. And then they all are teaming up on just two sides. And that's the problem, is how do you get out of the delusion that each side thinks it's woke? That both sides maybe are realizing that maybe they are both woke and they need to work together to get to the true spell that's spelling both sides. And here's that Mars at 28 Pisces, right? It's kind of at the end of its rope. It really cannot wait to come into Aries, and it's going to be there for an extended stay. And so this is going to be squaring these nodes, and this is what's activating in a harsh reality, in a very negative aspect, the loss of a world, or the loss of people's spiritual hopes and dreams, with a Mars square the South Node at 29 Pisces to 29 Sag. Both are Jupiter-ruled energies. both are in bad squares, have malefic energy with Mars, and Jupiter is with the malefic in the malefic house that Jupiter hates the most. I don't know how to tell you all any more clearer astrology. And I don't know why people aren't saying that in the astrology world. Maybe because they don't know astrology. They don't look at that shit. It's like break down every transit, break down every planet, break down the sign in which it's in. Break it down. Know your dispositors. Know what these planets are doing. It's not just Mars and Pisces square the nodes and you got a choice to make in destiny. It's much deeper than that. It is if you fall for the Jupiterian world right now, you will lose. And if it's by belief and waiting for the world to change and hopes that, I don't know, I'm waiting for an answer. If you don't have the answer, it ain't coming. Gemini is the answers. You call, you get a fact. I'd like to get information on why my cell phone's not working, Apple. Well, go to page 22 on your PDF and it'll tell you these things. Did all those things, did you go through them all? I did. Okay, well then you're going to need to give it to us and we're going to have to fix it. At least there you get your answer. But if you're like trying to find in life things like, well, what's going on here? I don't know yet. We're waiting on the world. I'd back out. You're going to be in the hopeful place for too long. Or that place, the world might not be the way that you want to be it when you go there, because this is going to be scary shit. Because there's going to be a world to where financial security will be the number one thing that people are going to focus on in all their lives, no matter how dangerous it is out there in the world. And you don't know if you want to go into situations where you get trapped, because the trap is going to be going deeper and deeper and deeper as I show you. So here we go on Thursday. We got the moon that's going to be in Virgo, and this stirs up a crazy pot because the north node's still in Gemini. We got Mars here at 28. And we got the south node here, so we got that. But the moon will make great sextiles to Cancer, and I would say that Thursday is one of those days with Venus direct, fully, bang. Even though the moon will square Venus, so it's like, I don't know. It's like I feel like, gosh, you want to talk about hard choices to make and hard lumps to get over in life? This is it. Because it's like, it's time to realize that in order to feel good and to get the things that you want in your life, you got to communicate about it. And it's in your local environment only. It's kind of like, think about, it's at your local store. It's at your local thing. Think of in those terms. It's in your environment. It's something that you have a reach for without having to wait long periods of time or take a long journey towards. And this is going to be where we have to go. The universe is set up to find that comfort. We need to make changes in our reality. That's what the moon is doing in that connection point to the sun. Right? But this Mars at 28 gets really hard. It starts just diving to the lowest and the hardest degrees of very harsh energy and feeling of are we ever going to get through this? Am I ever going to get my answers? Because that's what it's looking for in Pisces and square to the nodes, and it's Jupiter's house and Neptune's house, and Neptune's now retrograde. And Jupiter's retrograde. And Jupiter's with Pluto. Not many answers over there right now. Intuitively, there might be some answers, but again, they'll go back to stay local. Stay in your environment that makes sense for you logically. Now, Friday is one of the craziest days that we got, of course, because, yes, Venus comes direct, and we're going to see this Mars at 29 degrees of Pisces, right? And that's the hardest degree, I would say, for Mars in any water sign, or any water sign's hardest degree, and you get Mars in there who's 1 degree away from his house. It's like he's almost to his house, and he's about to get fired up, but he's squaring the nodes, and we have big choices in our life. The moon will be off Venus at least, and the moon will be starting its nice trines over to Jupiter, Pluto. So, it's kind of funky there, but I would say that we need to pay attention to the choices in our life, because the exact square is happening from Mars to the nodes on this day, and the sun is at 5, exactly in opposition to, ironically enough, actually it is on Thursday and Friday that we do have the sun in exact opposition to where the solar eclipse was in December on the 25th. So the whole 6-month type, side A of the tape is now turning to side B. And it takes a minute when you push play on an old VCR for it to get going and to track and to get the wheels turning and then for the previews to start to come. And we're going to start to see the previews, and you better start adjusting your life really fast, because I told you the end of June, and this is the 26th of June. So when the previews get on, it's like, I got to find my seat now. There's not like, oh, I'll just wait for another movie. No, there's not another movie playing. There's not another show. There's not tomorrow. There's not a month from now. There's not, like, this is serious shit going down in the universe. And it's a choice that you need to make if you're going to choose local, or you're going to play a gamble on a hope and a dream, or some unanswered knowing that you don't know, and watch it get crushed by Pluto with Jupiter. Watch it get crushed by Mars, a malefic at the last degree of Pisces. So if you really make that choice for the next type B of your whole thing, you might even be going, I'm going to be honest with you all. I'm promoting Wiener Schnitzel today. I wanted a corn dog. But locally. But there's this aspect of when I was young, and I went through this nodal return, and you need to look at your life back in 2002 to 2003. Gosh, I made the dumbest choice of my whole life. The dumbest choice of my whole life, with this whole big, and I was totally into the whole, I'm going to go see the world. I didn't go see the world. I saw the bars of a prison. I saw 80 guys and me do push-ups for fucking 3 months. I saw a scalpel with a Navy handbook medical book while I was getting a surgery right before I got knocked out. He's like, okay, we're doing a hernia surgery. Let's open up the book. What? And I got knocked out. These stories are not stories that you want to go into, the ones where you don't have facts and that don't look like it would be factually making sense. Like you're going to literally go through a type B of this, or a side B that you are not going to enjoy. It's like watching Sound of Music tape form nonstop in a room. I would blow, gosh, you have to be so politically correct right now, because somebody will call the police on me and think I'm trying to kill myself if I say something crazy, which I'm not. But I'm just saying that I would go insane. Are you going to go insane? And getting stuck? Because why? Look at Jupiter and Pluto getting tighter here on Friday. Look at Saturn now. It's only 20 minutes away. It's so close. Because when we move to Saturday here, boom, here's the craziest transit of the week besides Mars coming into Aries. And I'm going to show you this. The moon at 29 degrees Virgo, square to the nodes at 29, and Mars at 29.50. Boom, we are having a big mutable cross. And it's not only the Mars aspect at the hardest degree, but it is the moon in Virgo needing to make sure you emotionally have made the right choice in your reality, and that you have not got pressured into a delusional one based off the south node. But you are looking at the north, and you are looking at Venus that is showing up in the morning when you wake up. She's showing herself now to say, hello! Look at the brightness in what is local. Gemini, the Pleiades, the light that you already have now. If you're hoping for something that will change your life in the fucking distant future with no answers, or someplace that you need to go to get it, you're not going to get it. Or when you do go, it will not be what you think it will be, because it'll be a trap. I don't like having to give this info out, but it's just truth. You know what? I'm gonna use some Leo energy for a second and be like, I fucking told you guys Mexico City, and days later Mexico City is a fucking earthquake. I told you guys Dallas, and now Dallas is the #1 place that the governor tells fucking the whole entire state, everybody fucking stay home. And we were supposed to think in the media that Texas was the place that was gonna stay open. Do you really want me to just keep pounding you with truth, or do you not want to listen? You know what I mean? when I say this shit, I don't put shit out there unless I know I've fucking got it fully together. Because this Saturday, pull out of situations that are not in your reality, that are just delusional, and have the courage to come into Aries with a fresh start at the 0 point. Because when we come into that Mars and Aries at the 0 point, which actually happens that night, Saturday night, and then the moon comes into Libra, so we're going to see a Mars and moon switch signs right after each other. So you're going to get the moon opposed Mars in 4 different zodiacs. You're going to get the moon in Virgo, square the nodes, and then you get the moon in Libra, and then you get Mars at 29 Pisces, squares the nodes, and then it comes to its home sign as 0 Aries, the 0 point that's going to activate the eclipse square point of 0 Cancer. And create a kaboom of, did you choose the right destiny or not? Because that 0 point there, it'll be 0, 0, 0 on Saturday night. It's going to square what? 0 Cancer, which is where the solar eclipse happened. And on top of this, don't forget that now that we're going to have Mars and Aries, it's here until, I think it's like January 5th of 2021. Oh, sorry, 21. And what is Mars about to do here? It's about to create havoc. It's about to, I had to show, I was doing a reading yesterday, and it was really funny because I was just like, I'm looking at the time, it's what, 7:13, right? Yeah. Mars, I have to go, I have an interview soon, so you guys only have about 15 minutes with me max. Mars, ancient, astrology, okay. Okay, this is Mars when he comes home. Not only is his foot on this weird elf, or you might want to look at it as like a demon, but he gets his heroicism, his heroic energy here, right? And I don't want you to go into a destination thinking you're all warrior-like and it's going to be okay, and pulling a sage, hopeful commander of your life that's not going to be right. And I'm nothing against Sages, it's just the South Node's in Sag, so sorry. Like, check out of Sag for a minute because it's delusional. But with the Mars that's going to think Gemini-like, smarter, what environment am I going to go into? Should I really send all my troops, my whole life, into this place with a lot of unknowns? And you know what's funny is most people can do that even in their local environment, like stay in the unknown of just crap, but realize they can make like a small change that's just a street corner away. But it's like there's people there that are waiting on answers in the outside world right now that are ready to just be like, I'm heroic, I'll go through it and see what's in there. And I'm just going to tell you that you're going to get decimated. Because Mars will go retrograde and square Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter this summer into the fall. And you're not going to get what you want. It's going to be hard. And Chiron is in Aries. Let's not forget that Mars is not used to having Chiron here. And you want to talk about Vietnam? Mars and Chiron and Aries. Like, you really think that was a good situation? You think that went well? You think that the American troops really thought that they would the Viet Cong would just come out and just shoot you in the middle of the freaking jungle? Like, or you'd just be going down the street and a woman would look like she's like, I have some rice for you, and fucking blow your head off? That's going to be your energy going into the stupidness. I'm going to be, because Gemini is like, you stupid head. Right? Like you're stupid. You're not thinking logically. Like, the world is not going to turn back on the way people are, and it's changing forever, and it's going to be a long time till it ever gets anywhere normal. And so don't be this guy who thinks that he can have a grip. Look at what is he holding on to there. He's got a rope. And it's almost like he can tie this devil up. But what if the devil slipped out and bit you. Sirens in the background. I don't make that shit up. When we come to Monday here, the 29th, here's the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction happening. This is the financial. It's going to happen on a Monday, too. And you know what? It's a moon day, Monday, right? And where's the moon? In Libra at 27, pretty stressed, squaring Pluto, squaring Jupiter. I think we're going to see a major financial collapse on Monday, June 28th. I also think that we're going to see a very disharmony world. This is Saturn also going to create its last havoc and weird energies in Aquarius as it's just days away from coming back into Capricorn to drop the biggest gate we've ever seen in our lives. We still have the South Node here at 29 degrees edgy of Sag and Jupiter's with Pluto, and it's destructive. And the moon will then come into Scorpio, its fall position that night, and start to oppose Uranus, which we've never seen here at the 9 degree spot. And that is going to create, I think, one of the biggest financial crises we've ever seen. And Venus is now direct, and it's starting to move. And at the same token, we are seeing the Sun and Mercury, which are conjuncting. They won't be exact, but they're right there, and they're about to do the biggest buildup of a big square to Chiron. It is going to be a very difficult emotional situation. It was also at 9 degrees of these zones that if we go back to the 2012 alignments and 2013 of Pluto and Uranus square, that there was a 9 degree Pluto-Uranus square. And we are going to access that through the Cancer and Aries squares that we're going to see here. There is remnants of weird shit going on here that is beyond your human function understanding. And Tuesday is the exact square. The Sun and Mercury retrograde, right? Exactly square Chiron as the moon is in Scorpio opposing Uranus. And the moon does square or trine over to the Sun and Mercury, but it's going to be a clear indication of truth emotionally, of what is just truth and what to let go of emotionally instead of hold on, right? Moon in Scorpio has to learn to kill the emotion instead of keep trying to obsess over it, to have it. And it's going to be very difficult with Mars and Aries now, as we are all going to have to almost feel like there's a fight for our heroism, or just even a fight to go through life as it's headed towards Chiron, and it's in between Neptune and Chiron. It's at the exact midpoint of those two. And those two are dealing with sacrifice. This is going to be a massive sacrifice of one that we do not spiritually or ego-wise want to go through. And say goodbye to travel, because I think that travel is going to be one of those things that's going to be hit the most. I'm even predicting that in like the next month, and I think that you'll see, like in states or even in the EU or stuff, you'll see like country to country travel be banned for a while in the EU. And I also think in America, they're going to try and ban state to state travel. Because when I come back to you all, it will be July 1st. And it will be Saturn coming back into Capricorn. Let's just look at this. Here's the Tuesday the 30th. What is that? That's 0004 minutes. Saturn comes back into Capricorn on July 1st, and we start July 1st with Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter, with a Jupiter that just retrograded over Pluto. So think of planets like a knot in your back. Jupiter just went over the Plutonian knot in a retrograde and hasn't done that in decades. And it hasn't done it in Capricorn and with Saturn nearby in 740 years. And now there's no node, so we actually will feel it. We'll actually feel it. We'll actually feel the change. And it will feel unpredictable with Saturn right there at the edge of 29, and with Uranus at 9, which is a very action-oriented degree, about to come into another decan in Taurus, dealing with financial matters and people's values. And if you didn't listen to this Venus retrograde in North Node, these two, Rahu's going to be pissed. Well, he's going to be pissed if he doesn't get what he wants, Venus-wise. He doesn't get the relationships because you were too afraid you were too like, well, I want to keep looking for more options, and I want to keep seeing, well, I don't know where the world's going, and I don't know. Guess what? You missed out, and you'll feel an inner fear and an inner obsession with trying to have something that you can't have. And that's what this is like, I'm going to use a very like weird analogy. It's almost like vampires who can't drink blood. It's gone off the planet. What would they do? There's something that would feel that way for many people with the moon in Scorpio and North Node and Venus, and now the world's coming to a fucking halt, and financial crisis situations and pump ups and dumps and stock market dumps. And I don't think crypto's going to do well in July. I think that we're going to see all markets and everything go to a complete the check stop in America for all the people getting relief. And you're going to see people freaked out about probably the CV and be closing down stuff, but they're going to keep economies open because they know they can't. There's no more money to give out. And that's where it's going to be a crazy world where you need to figure out your locality. You need to figure out the smart things in your life that you need to do. You need to stop getting way too political, and you need to start looking at how both sides and everybody is being conned by some force that we all don't know if it's by a side or not. I think that there's a side playing both sides. That's my honest truth, looking at the astrology. So, I think the only positive is, and it's the major, most positive thing in the whole world, is focus on your local life and stop fucking thinking about the outer world for a second and just look at your life and go, how do I make it the best ever? That God has shown you everything that is in front of you. You have every tool. Venus rules tools. You have every tool. You have every option. You have everything that you need right now to be happy and to have the life that you're going to want to get through this next 6 months that is not going to be the way that you want it to see. Unless you make it the way you wanted it to see in your own world. Thank God I didn't move to fucking Arizona, to be honest with you. It's fucking crazy, but thank God I had that high vibes here and that we just focus on the locality of this place. Because fucking, thank God. So, and for me, thank God I got out of LA. Actually, Craig got out of LA too. Thank God. So, but what the irony is, this is not even about places and looking, even though it kind of is that way with Mercury retrograde and Cancer. I got like 2 minutes. That there's this. I wouldn't make dramatic moves unless you're moving like cities over or something. I would not. If you think it's going to be better in another state, it's not. This is going to affect everybody in the world. But I think that you need to think about where the people that you want to be around, this Venus, where's the kind of vibe that you want to be around that's easy for you too. Gemini is simple steps. It's just like, all I have to do is this and that, and that's it. I just got to move in here. I got to move in with my girlfriend. I got to move in with my boyfriend. Or I got to go here, I just got to do this, or I just got to say, but you got to speak. And people have hard speaking issues right now, or they're shy to say things that they feel. This is where you need to say it in Cancer with the North Node in Gemini, with Venus direct in Gemini, because you don't want to miss out. You don't want to miss that opportunity. And no, I do not want to have a million DMs of people trying to come live here with me or something like that. Let's just be real. Like, that's too saggy of you, because I've been getting those. And I'm sorry. So, but because you're not in my local, like you might be in my local world on an app, but you're not actually in my local space. I don't know you, you know what I mean? That's too sad. Like, I would have to get to know you. That's sad. I'd have to get to know you. I don't even know if actually who you are. Most of you all don't even show your picture. But people I know in my life, right, is Gemini. Like, I already have the identity of them. I know what they talk like. I know their fidgets. I know their fun things. I know that, you know what I mean? That's Gemini. Focus on these things, this local shit. I know this is a red couch. I know where I bought it. I put it in the truck myself. I know how much I can lean back on it and how much I can. I know how light it is. I know how to move it myself. I know when somebody helps me move it with me, it's easier. These are the things of the knowing, which are factual data that's in your environment that you experienced already, that you already have an understanding of, and that you have a curiosity of, that actually makes sense and wouldn't take that big of a whole entire Jupiterian, like, well, let's see, the biggest conquest that I need to do, because now Mars is in Aries and everybody's going to feel the conquest and the ego to get what they want. But it's the direction in which you pick of Sag or Gemini. And if you pick Sag and the energies of understanding Sagittarius, you'll lose. I got to roll. I love you all. HighVibe.tv. I appreciate all you High Vibers on there, baby. If you're not on High Vibe, join it today. 7-day free trial. We're on all the apps. HighVibe.tv. Of course, get all my awesome paid video specials. You can get it at highvibe.tv on the paid video special, and then log into the app once you purchase it and be on the app. Plus, you get all the notifications. You get all the spiritual dance physics. You get all of Kim's paintings. She got a new show up. We got a bunch of other shows, and we are doing a lot here. Love you all very much. Please spread this message and get prepared. The gates are coming down.